Section 58 of Greatheart. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Greatheart by Ethel M. Dell. Chapter 28. Consolation. Of the long hours that followed that wonderful dawning, Dinah never had any very distinct recollection. Even Scott seemed to forget her for a while, and it was old Biddy who presently found her curled up on the window-seat, with her head upon the sill, asleep. Biddy, with her eyes very bright and alert, albeit deeply rimmed with red. She came to the childish, drooping figure, murmuring tender words. She put wiry arms about her and lifted her to her feet. "There, come to your own room and rest, my lamb," she said. "Old Biddy'll take care of ye aroon." Dinah submitted with the vague docility of a brain but half awakened. To be cared for and petted by Biddy was no new thing in her experience. She even felt as if the old crystal alpine days had returned, as Biddy undressed her and presently tucked her into bed. Later, still in semi-consciousness, she drank the hot milk that the old woman brought her, and then sank into a deep, deep sleep. She awakened from that sleep with a sense of well-being such as she had never known before, a feeling of complete security and rest. The house was very quiet, and through the curtained window there came to her the soft, slumberous splash of the waves. She lay very still, listening to the soothing murmur, gradually focusing her mind again after its long oblivion. The memory of the previous night and of the coming of the dawn came back to her, and with it the thought of Isabel, but without grief and without regret. They had left her on the mountain-top, and she knew that all must be well. A great peace seemed to have fallen like a veil upon the whole house. Surely no one could be mourning over that glad release. She saw again the flashing of those free wings in the dawnlight, and her heart thrilled afresh. She remembered, too, the close, strong clasp of Scott's hand as he had watched with her. Where was Scott now? The wonder darted suddenly through her brain, and with it, swift as a flying cloud shadow, came the want of him, the longing for the quiet voice, the quivering delight of his near presence. She half raised herself, and then, caught by another thought, sank down again to hide her burning face in the pillow. It would be a little difficult to meet him again. On the old easy terms of friendship it could not be, and they had hardly begun to be lovers yet. He had not even kissed her. Another thought came to her, of an even more disturbing nature. Save for old Biddy and the nurse, she was alone with the two brothers now. Would they insist upon sending her home until Scott was ready to come and take her away? Oh, surely Scott would never ask that of her. Nevertheless, the thought tormented her. She did not see any way out of the difficulty, and she was terribly afraid that Scott would be equally at a loss. "I don't think I could bear it," she whispered to herself. "And yet, if he says so, I suppose I must. I couldn't refuse if he said so." The soft opening of the door recalled her to the immediate present. She saw old Biddy's face with its watchful guardian look peep stealthily in upon her. "Ah, mavourneen," she whispered fondly, coming forward. "And is it awake ye are? I've peeped round at ye this 5 times, and ye were sleeping like a newborn babe. Lie still, darlint, while I fetch ye a cup of tea, then." She was gone with the words, but in a very little she was back again, with her own especial brew. She set her tray down by Dinah's side, but Dinah did not even look at it. She raised herself instead, and threw warm arms round the old woman's neck. "Oh, Biddy," she said. "Biddy, darling, I can't think what I'd ever do without you." Biddy uttered a sharp sob and gathered her close. But in a moment, half angrily, "And what is it that I'd be crying for at all?" she said. "Isn't my dear Isabel safer with the Almighty than she ever was with me? Isn't she gone to the blessed saints in paradise? And would I have her back? No, no, I'm not that selfish, Miss Dinah. I'm an old woman, moreover, and be the same token me own time can't be so far off now." But Dinah clung faster to her. "Please, Biddy, please, don't talk like that. I want you," she said. "Ah, bless the dear lamb," said Biddy, and tenderly kissed the upturned, pleading face. "Miss Isabel said you would now. But when you've got Master Scott to take care of you, it's not old Biddy that you'll be wanting any longer." "I shall," Dinah vowed. "I shall. I shall always want my Biddy." "And may the Lord Almighty bless you for the word," said Biddy. When Dinah was dressed, a great shyness fell upon her, born partly of the still mystery of the presence of death that wrapped the little house. She stood by the window of her room, looking forth, irresolute, over the evening sea. The blinds were drawn only in the room of death, for Scott had so decreed, and the air blew in, sweet and fresh, from the rippling water. After a few minutes, Biddy came softly up behind her. "And is it himself you're looking for, mavourneen?" she murmured at Dinah's shoulder. Dinah started a little and flushed. She wondered if Biddy knew all, or only guessed. "I don't know what to do," she said rather confusedly. Biddy gave her a quick, wise look. "Will I tell you a secret, Miss Dinah, dear?" she whispered. Dinah looked at her. The old woman's face was full of shrewd understanding. "Yes, tell me," she said somewhat breathlessly. Biddy's brown hand grasped her arm. "Master Scott went to town this morning," she said. "He'll be back any minute now. Sir Eustace is downstairs. He wants to see you, to tell you something before Master Scott gets back." "Oh, what?" gasped Dinah. "There now, there, don't you be afraid," said Biddy, her beady eyes softening. "It's something you'll like. Master Scott, he's not the gentleman to make you do anything you don't want to do. Don't you trust him, Miss Dinah?" Of course," Dinah said with trembling lips. "Then you've nothing to be afraid of," said Biddy wisely. "Faith, it's only the marriage license he's been to fetch." "Oh, Biddy!" Dinah wheeled from the window with both her hands over her heart. Biddy nodded with grave triumph. "It was Sir Eustace made him go. Master Scott, he didn't think it would be decent, not at first. But, as Sir Eustace said, there's more ways than one of being undecent. And after all, it was the dearest wish of Miss Isabel's heart. Don't you be a conventional fool, he said. And for once I agreed with him," said Biddy naively, "though I think he needn't have used bad language over it." "Oh, Biddy!" Dinah said again. Then, very oddly, she began to smile, and the tension went out of her attitude. She kissed the wrinkled cheek and turned. "I think perhaps I will go down and speak to Sir Eustace," she said. She went quickly, aware that if she suffered herself to pause, the overpowering shyness would seize upon her again. Guided by the scent of cigarette smoke, she entered the dining room. Sir Eustace was seated at a writing table near the window. He looked up swiftly at her entrance. "Awake at last," he said, and would have risen with the words, but she reached him first and checked him. "Eustace, oh, Eustace," she said, Biddy has just told me." He frowned as she stopped in confusion, steadying herself rather piteously against his shoulder. But in a moment, seeing her agitation, he put a kindly arm around her. "Biddy is an old fool, always was. Don't take any notice of her. What a ferment you're in, child. What's the matter? There, sit down." He drew her down onto the arm of his chair, and she leaned against him, striving for self-control. You are so, so much too good," she murmured. He smiled rather grimly. "No one ever accused me of that before. Was that the staggering piece of information that Biddy has imparted to you?" "No," she said, a fleeting smile upon her own face. It was about Scott. It took my breath away, that's all." "That all?" said Eustace with a faintly wry lift of one eyebrow. She slipped a shy arm around his neck. "Eustace, do you think I ought to let Scott marry me?" "I'm quite sure you'll break his heart if you don't," responded Eustace. "Oh, I couldn't do that," she said quickly. "No, I shouldn't if I were you. It isn't a very amusing game for anyone concerned." Sir Eustace took up his pen with his free hand. "He's rather a good chap, you know," he said. "Beastly good sometimes. He'll take a little living up to, but you'll manage that, I dare say. When he told me how things stood between you, I saw directly there was only one thing to be done, and I made him do it. The idea is to get you married before the nurse goes, and she is off tomorrow." He paused, looking at her critically, and again, half cynically, half sadly, smiled. "You took that well?" he said. "If it had been to me, you'd have jumped sky high. You're a wise little creature, Dinah. You've chosen the best man, and you'll never be sorry. I congratulate you on your choice." He turned his face fully to her, and she stooped swiftly and kissed him. "I'm dreadfully sorry I treated you so badly first," she whispered. "You needn't be," he said. "It did me good. You showed me myself from a point of view that I had never taken before. You taught me to be human. I told Isabel so. She, poor girl." He stopped a second, and she saw that momentarily he was moved, but he continued almost at once. "She was grateful to you, too," he said. "You removed the outer crust at a single stroke, just in time to prevent atrophy. Of course," he glanced down at the letter under his hand. "It was a more or less painful process, but it may comfort you to know that it didn't go quite so deep with me as I thought it had at the time. There's no sense crying over spilt milk anyhow. I never was that sort of ass. You may, or may not, be pleased to hear that I am already well on the way to Consolation." He lifted his eyes suddenly, with an expression in them that completely baffled her. It was almost as if he had detached himself for the moment from all participation in his own doings, contemplating them with a half-pathetic irony. "Shall I tell you what I was doing when you came in just now?" he said. "I was writing to the girl you nearly sacrificed your happiness to cut out." "Rose Devine?" she said quickly. He nodded. "Yes, Rose Devine." He paused for a second, just a second. Then, "The girl I'm going to marry," he said quietly. "Oh, Eustace!" There was no mistaking the gladness in Dinah's tone. "I am pleased," she said earnestly. "I know you will be happy together. You were simply made for each other." He smiled, still in that strange, half-rueful fashion. "I'm doing the best I can under the circumstances. It is kind of you to be pleased. But now, once more to your affairs. They are more pressing than mine just now. It may interest you to know that Scott, although under Isabel's will he is made absolutely independent of me, is willing to live at the Dower House if that arrangement meets with your approval." "Of course. I shall love it," Dinah said. "I'm glad of that, for it will be a great help to me to have him there. You will be able to have Billy to stay with you in the holidays and roam about as you like. Scott is making all sorts of plans. I'm going to settle the place on him as a wedding present." "Oh, Eustace, how kind! What a lovely gift!" Sir Eustace smiled at her. "I'm giving him more than that, Dinah. I'm giving him his wife and the wedding ring." The irony was uppermost again, but it held no sting. "It will fit no other hand but yours, and it will serve to keep you in constant remembrance of your good luck. I can hear him coming up the path. Aren't you going to meet him?" She sprang up like a startled fawn. "Oh, I can't meet him yet," she said desperately. There was a curious glint in Eustace's eyes as he watched her, a flash of mockery that came and went. "What?" he said. "Do you want me to help you to run away from him now?" She looked at him quickly, and in a moment her hesitation was gone. "Oh, no," she said. "No." And with a little breathless sound that might have been a tremor of laughter, she fled away from him out into the evening sunshine to meet her lover. End of section 58.